Hello everybody, tere tulemast. Your Excellency, Mr. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends. In my capacity as Secretary General of the International Music Council, it is a great honor and pleasure for me to welcome you all to the opening ceremony of the 4th IMC World Forum on Music. This forum is organized by the International, European and Estonian Music Councils in close cooperation with the Estonian Academy of Music and Theatre. Over 250 speakers and participants from 55 countries of the world, from Africa, the Americas, the Arab world, Asia, Europe and Oceania have gathered in Tallinn to discuss the correlation between music and social change. Let me extend a special welcome to the representatives of the 70 member organizations of the International Music Council, 19 international music organizations, 13 regional music organizations, representatives from 18 national music councils and 18 national and specialized organizations, and 5 regional music councils. I am very pleased to welcome the speakers of this morning's opening ceremony, but before I give you the floor, I would like to invite Henrik Melius, the Forum Program Coordinator, for a short announcement.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would also just like to second Silja in the greetings to everybody. There's a small change in the program that we'd like you to be aware of. Our keynote speaker, Yusun Du, has been moved to Thursday in the afternoon at the grand closing of the session rather than today. So you will not see Yusun Du this morning as a keynote, but you will have to wait until Thursday. There is one other small change which we'd like to direct your attention to, and that's the afternoon session. Let's have a look here. That's Music and Development, Emerging Markets and New Talents. That has been moved to day 2 tomorrow at 4:30, and instead we have today at 2:30 the hip-hop as a tool for social change. So those are the program changes that we'd like to make you aware of. Thank you.
We are very honored to welcome for this opening ceremony of the 4th IMC World Forum on Music the Minister of Culture of Estonia, Mr. Rein. Tere tulemast, Mr. Minister.
Well, dear friends, honored participants and organizers of the forum, for me it's definitely a great honor to open this kind of an event in Tallinn and in Estonia. It's an honor to welcome you here in October, which is definitely not the best time to make any events in Tallinn. But nevertheless, we are proud that after Los Angeles, Beijing and Tunis, this kind of an event is first time held in Europe. And it's quite logical to hold this kind of an event in the capital of culture of the European Union. So once again, welcome. Well, speaking about relations of the Estonian state and music is a very long story. We have less than 1 million taxpayers in this country. Our country is of population only 1.3 million people. But still we are supporting 2 opera theaters, 2 orchestras, a professional chamber choir and a professional male choir. Besides that, we support and hold the Academy of Music and Theatre, and besides many other public institutions. So we can be proud of that politically in a democratic country, our taxpayers are ready and eager to pay for such kind of luxury. But at the same time, the key question what is debated in this society and also in the government circles at this stage is how to promote creative industries. How to make economy, industries work together with culture in order that everybody could benefit from that. This is also on the table of the European Union, and I personally hope that the faith of this debate and possible next documents of the European Union don't face the same like happened with the Lisbon strategy 10 years ago. So we have to be optimistic, and I personally think that the words creative industries are key words in next 10 years. So besides debating during this forum music and social change, I would urge you also to think about, at least to think about the terms of creative industries. So how to make people work together, economists, entrepreneurs, and cultural people, including songwriters, musicians, choirs, orchestras, etc., etc. If we find a solution to that, we will be successful, and this is for the benefit of our countries and our people. So thank you very much for your attention, and I wish the forum a good working day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. The International Music Council and the the European Music Council were privileged to collaborate with wonderful hosts locally, the Estonian Music Council and the Estonian Academy of Music and Theatre. So I have the immense pleasure to give the floor now to the president of both institutions, Mr. Peep Lassmann.
Dear guests and colleagues, I am standing before you and I'm very glad. I am glad that the country, as was already said by our Minister of Culture, has a little bit more than 1 million inhabitants. And this country can be a host for first World Music Forum that is held in Europe. Music had always had a big importance for Estonians. Therefore, is it not a surprise that these nightly gatherings in the 80s, where dozens of thousands of people sang together for freedom, had a big influence to the processes that led to huge social changes that took place in Estonia, maybe also in other Eastern European countries. The rapid development in all fields of our music life during the last 20 years of our history demonstrates clearly that also the social changes are influencing the music making. I am sure that the discussions over this exciting theme bring forward many new and interesting aspects of mutual influences of music and human society. I wish you fruitful discussions and hope that you will enjoy your stay in Estonia. You are cordially welcome to Estonia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lassmann. Aite. The fourth IMC World Forum on Music follows a new formula in many ways, which those of you who have attended previous editions of the forum will be very likely to discover soon. One of the new features in the preparation of the forum is the co-presentation with our regional group, in this case, the European Music Council. And so I have the pleasure to give the floor to the chairman of the European Music Council, Mr. Timo Klemettinen.
Mr. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and colleagues, friends of music. It's a great pleasure and honor for me on behalf of European Music Council to welcome you as well to the 4th World Forum on Music here in Tallinn, in which history music has been playing so significant role and today is one of the great music countries in the world. First of all, I would like to thank International Music Council, Estonian Music Council, and Estonian Music and Theatre University for the cooperation. I do believe the cooperation has been beneficial and truly win-win situation for all of the parties. And I do hope that in the future of the World Forums, in coming forums, the model of working closely together with the regional groups and International Music Council will continue. Well, today young people, youth, are the decision makers of the future. When I was looking at the list of the participants, I was extremely happy to notice that we have 50 youth participants here. This is a wonderful number. The whole process started in Tunisia and now it has been growing here in Tallinn. And all the work made by youth group, I think, is something which it's a wonderful signal for the future of our organizations. As a Finnish person, living neighbor of Estonia, I have had quite a close look over our dear neighbor Estonia. As Peep Lassmann said, during the last 20 decades, the development has been remarkable. If I look Estonian musical life, it has a very strong music school network. Music schools which are providing good quality basis for the future studies. Estonia has a wonderful folk music tradition, like a Viljandi Center for the folk music. Estonian composers, musicians, conductors are worldwide famous. And last but not least, the choir music is really on a top level in the world. And it's not only music. I've been looking for Estonia growing as a society last decades, and the technological development has been one of the fastest in Europe. Invention like a Skype and use of the technology in the society is really remarkable in this country. And I heard once one person said that Estonia will be the new P-Valley of the Europe. So I'm really happy that we are able to organize this meeting in this growing, beautiful country of Estonia. Meetings like this are of course beneficial by many ways. We can learn, we have discussions, we got a lot of information. But I think one of the great output of these kind of events is that we can meet each other. When I look at you from all over the world, I think what a huge potential we have is to find each other as human beings, make bridges from the regions, and really create the global, tolerant, and cooperative world in the music. So I hope when you go back home, you have many things in your heart to bring, and I wish you the beautiful week in Estonia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Timo. The World Forum on Music is a program of the International Music Council, a non-governmental organization founded in 1949 at the request of the UNESCO Director General. It is the world's largest network of music organizations, and this network of networks is led by President Frans Ruiter, to whom I have the pleasure of giving the floor now.
this was sounding very threatening, colleagues and friends. We are very happy that Youssou N'Dour is coming one of these days, and we will see him on Thursday. But I wonder how I can fill up the time till the coffee break nearly instead of him. But I will try and do my best. But I'm not sure if the coffee will be ready when I'm ready. Colleagues and friends, it's so fantastic to be here. Your Excellency, thank you for your beautiful words. And it's for us, for me personally, the 5th or 6th time I'm here in Tallinn, and we have seen the city growing and blossoming and opening for culture and even more beautiful than it was in the past. We are here, I can say, colleagues and friends of you, but we are here as musicians. Most of us are musicians and facilitators, because that's the other side of the coin, that most of us are busy day after day facilitating, making things possible which would otherwise be not possible. So I will mainly say something about my fascinations and opportunities I see and the hopes we have, and I will not so much speak about the famous buzzwords, because that's what we are doing all the time in all these meetings, in all our travels. We are members of platforms, we read green papers, we execute the Seoul agenda, we work in policy fields, we have legal frameworks, we talk about empowerment, cultural diversity, intercultural dialogue, growth and employment, catalyst measures for employment and creativity, innovation, competitiveness, resources, togetherness, holistic advocacy, and the like. So I could give a long speech on these subjects, but I will not do that. Music is something very complicated. We have to think in layers. All these layers together make that the music life is as it is what it is, and what it could be and should be. In all our thoughts and actions and facilitating and making things possible, we have to see this view on creation. Creation is not only when people write music, but also when they improvise, when they make the simple handwork, or when they are serving and handling machines making music. We have all these forms of performance, live and recorded. Music can be taught, can be learned, can be conveyed, can be practiced, can be perceived, is appreciated, is evaluated. All these processes are going hand in all our deliberations and are of vital importance for the future of music. Recently, I was in a plane sitting, and there was a documentary, sorry Henrik, I have to tell, on Sting. And there was a brain surgeon. Sting was entering into an MRI scan to see what his brains were doing when he thinks about music and composes music. Well, that's not so important perhaps, but there was one very interesting issue and explanation of the brain surgeon and the brain cognition specialist, saying, and we must think about that, the brain processes the sounds we think to hear into music. We do not know a lot yet, and hence this experiment with Sting, about what music is and how it is. We sometimes know a little bit how it is made and created, but what happens afterwards, we really don't know. This miraculous thing, the ear and the brains and these nerves. And it is a very interesting subject for further study. But I repeat, the brain processes the sounds we think to hear into music. Very interesting, and please take this with you. I could give on my fascinations and love for music up till 10:45, 20 examples or 12 examples. I decided to go back to four very special experiences I had over the past 1 or 2 years about what music can do and what the relation could be with social change. I had the privilege to run for 21 years the Royal Conservatoire in The Hague. And now I'm out there, and we have successors, and that all functions well. This year, in February, 200 orchestral players and 200 choral singers about were performing 3 times Gurre-Lieder by Schoenberg. If you know that piece, it is a piece from the youth of Schoenberg, one of his last pieces in a more or less immediately comprehensible style, although it was his first piece for big orchestra. Incomprehensible that a young man writes a piece for a 140-set orchestra with the choir. It lasts 1.5 hours. Soloist, conductor Rein in his 70s, the godfather of Schoenberg in the Netherlands and the Low Countries, but worldwide, was conducting these 400 young students, age 17, 24, 25. Incredible experience, amazement about such a corpus of wealth, richness from that particular period. 400 young musicians doing this. I recall a choral festival for children and youth choirs in Basel from one of our international organizations on choral music. A small group of 30 girls, aged 10 to 14, sitting around, not in a choir setting, but mixed, sopranos, altos, or what you can call at that age, the type of voice, sitting on the ground, mixed, not in a circle, but just astray, singing with the eyes closed. No conductor, but just having practiced this song, and they had to learn to listen to each other. No conductor giving signs or cues, but just singing through listening. The brain obviously processing the sounds they thought to hear into music. A wonderful experience. Sitting in Mumbai in the experimental theater of the National Center for the Performing Arts, every year the prize winners of all Indian radio on tabla, on sitar, singing, other stringed instruments are giving a short performance. They are the upper class, the utmost results, the fine examples of what Indian music teaching can do with youngsters, age 22, 23, 24. An incredible experience with how much concentration at that young age they are able, of course, by heart, having studied by a master, to play this music and to make the line between the past and the future. And one last tiny example. Sitting in Amman recently, and I have to tell, I couldn't avoid it. The wife of our Arab representative, Hisham Sharaf, is called, her name is Tallinn. How come? They showed a short film on the mobile phone of a daughter of 3.5 years. She was looking at George Duhamel conducting an orchestra, a kind of Spanish-Brazilian piece, and she was dancing in front of the television and imitating the conductor. Now, Duhamel is quite a character, as you know. He comes from the Venezuelan tradition. And the little girl was dancing, dancing and dancing, conducting and imitating the trombone and the violin when the trombone was playing on the film and the violin was playing. Now, all these things together, I'm sure that could it be Schoenberg or Indian music or singing with your eyes closed or looking at Duhamel at an age of 3, it changes the lives of these young kids and children and young adults. It changes our lives also. In fact, they are, and now comes another buzzword, the incubators of social change, because they will take this all with them in their later career, and they will tell us about what they have learned in their youth, and it will change society, perhaps on a modest scale in a local situation, but we have to think about local situations also as an international council. I wanted to give you a few of these good examples, good practices. There are many more. It was a bit worldwide, but let's talk about these good examples in the days to come. This all, working with young people and what can be achieved there, brings me to an important result of a recent meeting on music education in Bonn. It was in the month of May. You will find somewhere around in the European Music Council the Bonn Declaration on Music Education. It's a very interesting document and you should all take it with you. There we are again with the buzzwords and declaration, but there was a full session where the newest thoughts on music education, the quality of it, the access to it, is now phrased in a meticulous way, and it can help you enormously wherever you go to use this to do efficacy. There we go again with the buzzwords. Warm thanks to all the organizers. We had many sessions in many committees with the European Council, the International Council, working groups, etc. It was a wonderful team. Thanks to the organizers. I want especially to mention Silja, you saw here, Sonja, who did the organization and the finance and the management, Henrik for the content, and the local contributors, Peep and Marje. It was wonderful to work with you all, and we will see the results in Alpha 1 and Alpha 2 and somewhere else in the days to come and in the various churches and concert halls. I would also like to thank from this point, and you find them on page 2, all those who have made possible that this happens. It's a costly operation, which is costing a lot of money. There are a lot of contributors from civil society and from governmental circles, and I want to pay special attention to our official sponsor NAM, the National Association for Music Merchants, also present here. And there we come to the speech of the minister, because he spoke about creative industry. Well, you can say that NAM is an example of creative industry, and so we have closed the circle. But be careful with the word creative industry. We were recently in a meeting in Brussels on the new cultural programs, Creative Europe, and the new educational program up till 2020. It's fantastic to listen to European civil servants and the representatives of the Commission. When they speak about creative industry, an orchestra for them is creative industry. So they do not speak about orchestras or ensembles or choirs or music education. It's all creative industry. So one warning, it's all fine with creative industry, but let's be careful that we exactly tell each other what we mean when we speak about creative industry. So NAM is fantastic, creative industry, but in fact, yeah, for some we are all creative industry. But this semantic question will also, of course, be solved during this symposium. These were my word of thanks to the organizers. It's, if I look around in the room, it's a festival of friends. Most of you we met somewhere in all kinds of places in the world, and we had sessions and lovely lunches and dinners and good wines in the preparation of all of this, which is very important, and the positive spirit from these meetings will be expressed in the program as we are going to present to you in the days to come, and which is so beautifully printed in the book. Thank you very much for coming, making all these long trips, 20 hours, 22 hours, changes in airports, visa problems. You have all survived and you're here, and many more are to come, I hope. Have an inspiring conference, and it's fine that we are here in the corridors, the coffee breaks, we can mutually exchange, not only here in the hall, it's important, but the local context between local people for the smaller projects which come into existence during such kind of congresses are of equal importance. Have a good time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Frans. For the past over 60 years of its existence, the International Music Council has had a very close relationship with UNESCO. And so I am very pleased to invite you to discover all together the video message that the Assistant Director for Culture of UNESCO, Mr. Francesco Bandarin, has kindly sent to us. We will cut the message after a certain time because there's a second part of the message which we will broadcast tomorrow during the introductory panel to the music and development sessions. So please excuse us, we will just stop the message after a certain time. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I'm very pleased today to extend my warm greetings to all the participants of the 4th World Music Forum. I would like to thank you for your kind invitation to attend this gathering in person, but as UNESCO's executive board is currently in session, it was not possible to send a UNESCO representative to Tallinn to participate directly in your discussions. Please accept our sincere apologies. I would first of all like to express my gratitude to the International Music Council for its long-standing cooperation with UNESCO. Over the course of the past 6 decades, our two organizations have joined forces on numerous occasions to promote music as a tool for development, social cohesion, reconciliation, and networking among cities worldwide. I am delighted to note that this year you have chosen to explore a timely topic that is high on UNESCO's agenda, and namely culture and development. UNESCO is convinced that cultural diversity constitutes a rich source of exchange, innovation, and creativity. We believe it. It can serve as a unique motor for sustainable development in a world that is marked by daunting global transformations, economic and social instability, and conflict. More specifically, UNESCO recognizes the tremendous potential of music as a transmitter of culture and identity, a vehicle for mutual understanding, social cohesion, as well as a source of economic empowerment for local development. Enabling the fullest possible range of cultural expressions in a globalized marketplace has emerged as one of the most pressing issues of the 21st century. New technologies are creating global audiences, but with new opportunities come new challenges. As you are all aware, the entire landscape of the musical industry has been transformed from creation and production to distribution. Unfortunately, unequal access to regional and international markets and resources negatively impact the ability of creators from developing countries to disseminate their work. And for all these reasons, the promotion of cultural diversity has been designated as one of UNESCO's top priorities. The UNESCO Universal Declaration on Cultural Diversity, adopted unanimously by the international community 10 years ago, qualifies the defense of cultural diversity as an ethical imperative, inseparable from the respect for human dignity.
So as I said, we will hear the second part of the message tomorrow morning as an introduction to our music and development sessions. Before I give the floor back to the forum program coordinator, Henrik Melius, I would like to thank the Minister of Culture for having been with us. He has to leave. As we know, ministers have a very busy schedule, so thank you very much, and thank you for making time to be with us. So, Henrik, if I may invite you back to this podium to set our minds and our hearts to dive into the topic of music and social change. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Silja. And I must say it's really wonderful to hear our president making a reference to Sting, but I couldn't help but to wonder why he cut a reference to George Frederick Handel in my notes. I suppose Sting is more important than Handel. But Sting is a great artist, and he knows our keynote very well, and has worked with him on several occasions, so I suppose that's okay. I just wanted to say a few words about music and social change, and what it's been like to work with the content this past year, speaking to many of you speakers out there, and sort of getting an overall picture of what you are offering the forum, because that's really what we have here. Music and social change, how are they related? How does music affect social change? And how does social change affect music lovers and music makers? Can there be any doubt that music is the most powerful tool for positive social change? So what then is required to jointly make efforts supporting this locally, where we are, or together with partners in places around the world where positive change is perhaps needed now more than ever before? Music and social change are intimately related because music affects people's personality, which means that when people change, so will society. There is never a time when music is not in one way or another connected to reconstruction of social fabric or social change. In the Scandinavian countries, for instance, we're very lucky to receive a great number of immigrants from many different countries. And this is, of course, a great treasure for the Scandinavian context. For some, however, fear of the unknown is a threshold that seems hard to move beyond. And that's why we see the uprising of discriminatory parties in Europe and elsewhere. So why is music and positive social change needed now, perhaps more than ever? Well, from my many travels in the Middle East, including seeing our friend Hisham Sharafe, and recently we know that with all the changes that are going on, for instance, in the Arab world, there is a hunger now to meet, perhaps in new ways. And there's a buzzword called intercultural dialogue and intercultural meeting grounds, but that's very much part of what we have experienced in traveling, specifically in that part of the world. And I'm excited to hear more about this in I think, Jeremy Koch's session, actually, with where Hisham will be participating. So how can we together encourage practical implementation of the fine words of the UNESCO Convention on the protection and promotion of the diversity of cultural expressions? What lyrics and what musical words are needed to convince governments and donors to take action for music and development? In many developing countries, as much as 80% of the music market is controlled by foreign music and international stakeholders. Just in Europe, for instance, we have 3% of the total GDP comes from the culture sector. So is it then not conceivable that the cultural arts should be considered when we speak about aid to the developing world? It's high time that this be taken into serious account in the fight against poverty for the sustainable development of national culture and music sectors. Music has a key role in human development, not least by supporting economic prosperity. From my perspective in working on the content this past year, I would like to invite you all to take advantage of this event to its fullest possible level. Take the opportunity to see how we together can make a difference. Meet new friends, and while doing that, have an incredibly rich program of concerts. The theme of the forum poses significant questions. Yet perhaps more importantly, it is calling out to us, participants, how will we be challenged, inspired and touched? How will we bring the network and experiences we have here during this week into clear and decisive action for music and positive social change? How will this event help place Estonia on the global map and support export of its vibrant music scene? And how will we, for instance, be inspired by Estonia's experiences from the singing revolution? There are wonderful sessions these coming days, and I would like to invite you all to have a close look at the program and choose. We have parallel sessions, so sometimes you can't have everything, so have a look at the program in detail. Again, I want to thank you. There's many people to thank here, but I would like to thank two people in particular, and that's our Secretary General, Silja Fischer, and Sonja Greino, who is the chairman of the structure group. Many more, but I think everybody else have really been thanked. So a special thanks to Silja and Sonja for, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you, Henrik. Thank you very much. The fourth IMC World Forum on Music is a co-production of many partners. For the IMC Secretariat, one of the main partners was, of course, the Office of the European Music Council, led by my colleague Simone Dudt, Secretary General of the European Music Council, and let me, for the announcement of the following of the program, give the floor to Simone.
Thank you very much, Silja. Yes, we are running a little bit early. That might change during the next forum days, I guess. So therefore, I would just like to give you some more information how we will continue now. So we would now have the coffee break, and then we would meet again at 11:15 for the panel on fair culture. How can this concept of fair culture be a tool, a precondition for music as a tool for social change? And as we have 7 speakers on that panel from all over the world, we just thought it's a good opportunity to give a little bit more time to this panel. So we will meet at 11:15 here again for the panel on fair culture, preconditions for music as a tool for social change. Also, I would like to let you know that there is a French speaker at that panel, so please help yourself with the interpretation facilities if you do not understand French so well. And then in the afternoon, it has already been announced, there will be 3 sessions. There will be the project presentations by the members of the EMC and IMC that will present projects that are relevant for our theme music and social change. And then, as already announced, the session on music and development, new markets and emerging talents was exchanged with the session Hip Hop as a Tool for Social Change. So at 2:30, you will have Hip Hop as a Tool for Social Change. And then, as well in the afternoon, we have a session on music as a tool for social change, good intentions, what outcome on quality and evaluation of music projects with a socio-cultural impetus. So, but we'll make that announcement again, ask us if something is not clear. And just one more very practical announcement. Some of you have come in late, and we would just love to ask you to register if you have not yet done so during the coffee break. So now enjoy coffee and see you again at 11:15 for Fair Culture. Thank you.